Rivals Week. Tonight, the Wolves and Mavs play for the third and final time this regular season. There's a ton of respect between these two teams, but don't think for a second that Ant has forgotten about last season's playoff matchup.
Early thoughts on playing the Mavs?
It's going to be fun, man. You know, my matchup going to be Kyrie, so that's going to be fun. We're going to see what I can do versus him.
Oh, yes. We love it when players don't run from the smoke, especially when it comes to matchups. And that was right before the T-Wolves faced off against the Mavs in the Western Conference Finals. Ant-Man versus Cobra Kai. Let's start, though, with the youngin. Anthony Edwards, his offseason, saw major changes for his squad, and that has actually impacted his game. He is the most blitzed player, trapped player in the NBA this season, 204 times so far. That is 70 times more than the next player on the list. But guess what? That doesn't stop him from getting to his spots. Run my tape, producer Liv, baby. All right, watch here. The defense is going to get loaded up. Watch. He has three guys ready to play aggressive defense. Instead, he rips through, gets to the middle of the lane. I always say good players have go-to moves, great players have counter moves. He has a step through and gets to the floater. That's been the shift, him getting downhill and not settling for threes. Okay, now when we think about it, on the other side of the ball, we had the young guy, now we have the distinguished vet in Kyrie Irving, who is a pro at getting into his bag. It has to be a Birkin, okay? Kai has the best handle we have ever seen, and it is lethal in isolation. Out of the 450 NBA players, he is 15th in ISO plays. And now with Luka and a number of Mavs out, he will have to lead the way. And y'all, I don't know how he does what he does. Because if you see this is kind of like a horn set that gets flexed and flared, so now you just have a one pick and roll. Here's the matchup that Ant wants. He's doing his thing. Instead, he rejects the screen, goes behind the back, creates some space. He's got a DPOY right in front of him. And guess what? DPOY doesn't matter. He's going to dot you in your eye. So when you think about these two, I mean, it's generational, but I love that this type of matchup brings out the best in both point guards.
It absolutely does. That matchup is going to be on full display, particularly because the Mavericks are struggling with health right now. And on that front, our Charania has some breaking news on Dereck Lively II. Shams, what more can you tell us?
Malika, I'm told that Dereck Lively II has suffered a fracture in his right foot, and he is expected to miss 2 to 3 months with this injury. This is a team that's already down Luka Doncic for an extended period of time. Kyrie Irving is playing through a bulging disc in his back as well right now. So this is a team in the Mavericks. They had relied on Lively to emerge as their starting center, and that he has. He's averaging a career year in his second season, almost 9 points a game, almost 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. Tough loss for the Mavericks. He's
missed the last 3 games entering tonight. And remember, the Mavericks are 4-10 since Christmas. You mentioned no Luka Doncic as well. He's missed the last 13 games, 21 in total this season. What can you tell us about his trajectory to return?
I'm told Luka Doncic's goal is to be back before the NBA All-Star break in mid-February. But that is his goal. And the Mavericks have to be cautious. He's had multiple calf injuries on his injured calf just this season. He had one in training camp. He missed time. And now in season. But his goal is to be back before the All-Star break.
Okay, so no Luka Doncic. Now they're without Dereck Lively, who was thrust into a huge role and really rose to the occasion, Marc, in the NBA Finals last year. Kyrie Irving is putting on a show. I think Klay Thompson is questionable in this one. The Mavs are a little bit banged up. What are your concerns about that at the midway point of the season?
Anthony Edwards does not care.
Okay, so you're like, I may be concerned, but Anthony Edwards does not.
He's bringing all the smoke.
Yep.
He's still mad. I talked to him before the Christmas game, and just the words Mavericks bring back bad memories for him. Being one step away from the NBA Finals. What if? What if? And so hey, man, he probably wouldn't send them a get-well card. He wants them to be. He wants to bring them some more pain. And just like his last 2 games, he's averaging 31 against them this season.
Yeah.
I expect him to make it worse tonight.
The Mavs and the Wolves is just one game on the slate of Rivals Week tonight. It's time now for our boosted performance brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. As we take a look at a couple more, I'm going to give you guys some matchups. Tell me who boosts their performance more tonight. We're going to start with the Wolves and the Mavs. Shanae, what do you think here?
Look, again, I said this guy does not duck from smoke. Also coming off of a loss where he took a little bit of criticism, but still he's been balling out of control. And man, he's going to boost his performance.
Okay, so we're going with Anthony Edwards, particularly coming off, you said it, missing that last-minute shot, and whether or not that was a shot to take or should he have passed. It'll be interesting to watch. We also have the number 1 seed in the East versus the number 2 seed in the West. I'm not actually going to go to Chiney on a Rockets. Marc, I'm going to you on Cavaliers Rockets.
I'm going to go with the Cavs.
Okay.
I know
Sorry,
they
Chiney.
stubbed their foot in Oklahoma City, but, hey, they're making a big name for themselves this season, and you can't take these Rockets lightly. They're respected now. I expect the Cavs to show up.
Rockets, who would their all-star be? That's going to be a very...
Shengun and possibly that man right there.
Could also
Yeah, we're going to get two. Two in the West?
I got
two.
one more for you, and I'm gonna have you both take this one. Warriors or Kings? Little Northern California battle here.
Have you seen Sabonis lately? I'm going with the Kings.
He's going with the Kings. Particularly, there's been a turnaround since the coaching change.
DeMar DeRozan balling in January, 24 points a game. I'm going in the E40 battle. I'm going with the Kings.
LeBron James, Marc Spears, did something that only one other 40-year-old has ever done last night against the Washington Wizards. We check in Crypto.com Arena here in the second quarter. Watch LeBron here, hunting, waiting for his time for the slam.
It is unreal. Big Three nominee, absolutely. I have a feeling that's going to be number one. When you give this man a runway like that, he will always make a highlight play. And my favorite part of the highlight was his son right there, just flabbergasted.
That's gotta go up in the house, right? The photo there. And LeBron, he's not new to this. He's true to this. He's done it in every single decade. But somehow, Anthony Davis, not so impressed.
I mean, it wasn't one of his best ones, but I'm saying better. But it was a good one. Enemies like me, you know.
It's your own people, Mr. Spears. It be your own people.
He was singing Friends, the Houdini song after that, too, in the locker room.
LeBron James hits the three from deep there. The Lakers pushing the lead. LeBron, once again, a little acrobatics under the rim.
I mean, unfortunately, the Wizards are complete business decisions when it comes to defense and guys like LeBron James, because you see plays like this happen all the time. Can't be stopped attacking, and again.
And that rebound, Chiney, gave him that triple-double, the second 40-year-old to record a triple-double. And now the Lakers are at the midway point of the season, which is a natural time for LeBron to reflect.
I don't know. I haven't even really gave us an assessment as far as the midway point, but I just, we want to continue to play good basketball. And obviously the Clipper game, the San Antonio game were not good games for us, but we got to try to continue to build and, throughout these next 41.
Even though we've had ups and downs, to be, a top 6 team in the West right now, Scotty again today reminded me of the Atlanta and the Orlando game. We're like 2 games away from where we would feel really good about how things are. But I like where the team is at.
So the Lakers are now at the halfway point of the season, and when you compare it to where they were last year, it's a mixed bag. Their record, of course, is certainly better, but they're still quite a ways away from feeling like they can make some real noise, I think, in the playoffs. Shams, they have 2 more weeks where they can make some more changes here. What are you hearing about how the Lakers are approaching the trade deadline and how their stars are feeling about that approach?
Malika, I'm told that the Lakers stars, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, are increasingly concerned about the franchise's ability to go out and significantly upgrade this roster. And they want the Lakers to show some activity here at that February 6th NBA trade deadline, because from my understanding, James and Davis feel that this is a team in the Lakers that is potentially 1 or 2 pieces away from legitimately contending from a championship. And when you have your top 2 players, one who's 40 years old, who feels like you make 1 or 2 additions and we can get there, they're yearning to get a couple pieces here to really compete for a championship. And on the Lakers side, they have 2 first-round picks that they can trade. They have some tradable contracts as well. I'm told the Lakers are open to potentially moving those 2 first-round picks.
Okay.
But they want players that can fit this iteration's team as well as for the next several years under J.J. Redick. And Malika, this is a stark contrast to we saw Stephen Curry recently say patience, not mortgaging the future in Golden State. These are 2 stars that feel like they can win now in L.A.
Well, when you see LeBron James at 40 years old putting up a triple-double like we did last night, the urgency starts to build. But, Chiney, you've been in these locker rooms when teams feel like they're almost there but not quite. When you start to hear your stars saying or feeling those sorts of things, does that help the front office to make a move? Does that help the vibe of the team to get to where you're going?
It does. It shows that there is absolutely a sense of urgency when it comes to competing. And I think what you illuminated, Shams, is that there's levels to this, right? you have competitive, like the Lakers right now, and then there's the contender status. And they're just trying to go one rung up. But the reality is they are what their record is. And it's not that bad. They're a playoff team. I think the expectation when you wear the purple and gold is to be, as talking about, locker rooms, is to be a championship contender. But at the end of the day, it's a reality check. They have a winning record, but they have a negative point differential. That means they give up more points than they score. So they have issues that they have to address. They have assets, and I'm glad that their stars are saying, hey, we still want to have our best shot when it matters most. 6 in the West is not that bad. Entering the playoffs healthy, anything
Lakers,
is possible.
though.
But it's also, that's tight. There's like half games that are separating
The only
teams.
thing that messes with my mind is when we started the season, we heard them say, hey, this J.J. Redick hire is all about development. That is different than championship contention.
Right.
And so I feel like there's a little bit of some confusion to what the reality is. And right now they're in the middle.
Well, the reality is, does it have to be a sexy trade, right? Like last night, Wizards GM Will Dawkins was in the building. Pelinka was in the building. I wonder if they talked. Guy Valanciunas is a guy that they played against last night. I think next to Anthony Davis, he could be fantastic. A rebounder, great locker room guy. And also, there's another guy, former Laker, Kyle Kuzma, who has the Lakers on his wish list, who would like to come back. There's other teams that he's looking at. But I guess, when you think Lakers, you think super sexy trades. Maybe for one of those two guys wouldn't be. But I just think either one of them could be of nice help.
The trade market is one way that the Lakers can look to improve here. Another way that they still have some area to improvement is internally. We haven't seen a guy like Jared Vanderbilt in quite a while. Shams, when could he be making his return?
Sources tell me today that Jared Vanderbilt has been medically cleared to make his season debut on Saturday on ABC against the Golden State Warriors. And Marc, that's one of those players, those role players that they acquired at the 2023 NBA trade deadline in the Russell Westbrook trade that brought that depth. Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt came in that year, and that team went to the Western Conference Finals. So Rob Pelinka and that organization has shown they can kind of tinker on the fly. They have a lot to do now this year.
This could be huge. We haven't seen him play since almost a year ago, February 1st, 2024.
Great job
he hasn't
by the
played.
Lakers medical staff.
Hasn't played all season. So Jared Vanderbilt, as Shams is reporting, on his way back Saturday on ABC.
NBA